Welcome to TradeTheMBI.com. This is John. This report is for the 21st, and well, we can see that we had the orange above 13.5. That usually presents a little bit of negativity, and that's exactly what we got the other day. Well, actually, that would have been the end of last week. Monday, we saw that pull off from there. We also saw shorts increase, but short-term buyers picked up the slack. So when we had a little bit of decay from the previous day, we're starting to see that turnaround right from there, and we're not overbought anymore, which that was a key. We had several days where we were showing some extremes on there from the extreme histogram here as we got into the red and the yellow, filled that back in, came right to the ABM and supported right off it. And the fact that we had a significant amount of short interest there could propel things a little bit. I think we're sort of in a hold pattern as we see what develops from more of the same tax situation and a lot of it, and whether the healthcare bill this week gets voted on, like they're talking about Thursday. So that would definitely create some spark. What's interesting to me is that at ATR, the average true range down to 13. You're going to need to see more volatility for market makers to be happy with making some return. What this indicates is that there's just been a lot of selling into there that had to be absorbed. We actually almost potentially have a DOC spread with the cyan rising above. So it's going to be critical to watch whether or not we get a turnaround in midterm buyers and that. A couple of these give us an indication that we could see some softness, but I'm encouraged that we had the reset of the short-term buyers, and if we can get a complete drop-off here of the orange below the green, I think we have potential for, it almost looks identical to this period right here at the end of January. We had a big move, came back, filled it all in as usual. We had that spike up there that created a weakness, and then we sent ourselves down underneath, and boom, that created. Now, if we don't get that, of course, we have to reevaluate. But see, at that point too, we had the same DOC spread, a little bit slower here to develop, which is interesting. It shows a little bit more strength than I think some people give it credit for. And speaking of which, the NQ is just a bastion of power. This is an interesting move here with the euro. I think that there's a feeling that things have stabilized from a you're getting the final details. I mean, you had the rumors of the Brit exit, all that stuff, that's getting finalized. And you're getting a huge push right now. The central bank's key, and also key from the U.S. standpoint. I think that a lot of this has been Fed-related, wanting to drive the euro up because it's going to help with the exports. There's just been a currency war going on amongst a lot of currencies for a while. You've certainly seen the back off of the attacks on China and their manipulation. I remember how that was going to be a major focus, but the salvation right back here for the euro is critical for them to maintain it. Will we see some more of the Greek issues in that? It's sort of moved to the back burner, yet they're coming up against some hard deadlines. So this could be one of those where the central bank's trying to force it back up as much as they can. It's now back in the bottom side of the range that we were looking for. Will they see a big sell-off again during a Greek situation? It's possible. But for now, it's rising. This is an unusual one. Counter trade going in there. And it's interesting. I mean, the only thing that gives justification to this would be that there's no inflation and no growth. Now, with the lower GDP numbers, potentially the Fed has gone too far too fast without actually seeing the results. We talked about that on the Skype chat. I put up the thing. I mean, it was ridiculous. Into falling GDP numbers in the first quarter, and that to have the Fed increase interest rates by another quarter is a bit aggressive. So we'll see. I think this is an indication that some expect that to have a negative impact on growth in that, which would be beneficial there. Oil is going to continue to languish, which, if things do get going, you're not having the inflationary pressure from oil, which has always been the catalyst in the past to driving inflation and that, or tight labor market. We've already established there's plenty of labor, and with the ability of the U.S. market now to turn on oil, I think the paradigm for inflation has to be reevaluated, and I think that's critical. Some are still relying on that to be the driver for gold. I think that's probably going to be more if we don't see the economic developments. Gold is going to be the safe haven for potential swings. Some of it too now is you may actually see a move away from equities simply because yield improvement from treasuries and that, modest, but still makes a difference. So we can see that we traded off lower from that previous one. We finally got the dips below the red with the orange right here. The first one didn't look too strong. We were still having negative shakeouts, and then the last one came on rising shakeout, and then actually had close above the long algo, which is all I was looking for, along with yellow here crossing on the shakeout. It was a perfect opportunity, and fine, came back a little bit, but just repeated the exact same thing. Didn't come back to the full lows on it. But close. I mean, this is where it's always nice. You always tend to get these. If it doesn't break away straight away, you get a little bit of a retrace, which often shakes people out, and then you get the big bounce. A little overbought, so some of this has got to get filled back in a little bit, but overall, decent move. No complaints whatsoever with that. So I think that, again, the wrong side trade is still wrong. I mean, they keep shorting into everything. I mean, finally we had a little bit of a decay, but we're right around that 2376 was the guideline that I had. So we'll go from there. As always, look for me on the Skype chat. Trade well.